Hi, YouTube. Um, my name is Luna Moth. At least that's what my, I don't know, alias is at this moment. I'm trying to keep things kind of anonymous just because um, my belief systems have changed a lot in the past couple of years. They're not necessarily things that people agree with, what I have to say, and so because of that, I just don't really want the persecution. And I don't really feel like arguing with anyone because it's just a waste of time. So I'm probably going to be making a few videos on various subjects, and all I have to say is that my truth doesn't have to be your truth. You can accept or deny it. That's totally fine. These are just my experiences and my understanding. So, um, first of all, I have always kind of had dreams and visions growing up. Very vivid dreams and every once in a while visions, and also just other weird paranormal. I've just kind of never been normal. So normal is just the setting on the washing machine. And I've always been able to like interpret dreams and situations or just kind of just known things like um, intuition, knowing. So um, I'd, I'd like to talk about a few of my experiences and I'm going to start off with kind of a rough subject that maybe a lot of people don't want to talk about. It's very taboo. It's culturally unacceptable, and it is suicide. So, basically, I'm making this video because about a week ago, I had a dream about a guy that I knew who had committed suicide about a month ago. Um, and he came to me in a dream. Um, I didn't know him that well, but he was like friend of friends, and I definitely met him a couple times and gone to like he was in a band. I gone to some of his shows and that kind of thing. Anyway, in my dream, he showed himself to me as being very fat, um, mostly meaning like heavy and weighed down. Um, and then he showed himself to me as being uh, lighter and thinner. So, I mean, my interpretation of that in my dream, my knowing, was that here on Earth, he was weighed down by things. Things got too heavy for him. He couldn't handle it. And then he was showing me himself now that he's lighter, better, not so burdened and weighed down. Then he showed me kind of like a brother figure, and I wasn't sure whether this was like a really good friend or whether he was talking about an actual brother. But he showed me him and was kind of like apologizing, like, hey, I'm sorry for like any emotional damage that I have caused you from my suicide, from my actions. Um, and then he also showed me someone else in his dream, in my dream. Sorry, it was one of his friends, and this was someone that I had known, actually, like gone on a few dates with. I don't know. We could call them dates, whatever. Anyway, other another thing for another time. Um, so this guy, he showed me him as like, it was like they were like mirroring. Sorry, the camera's weird. Mirroring each other, like the same but opposites, like complementing opposites of each other. So like very alike, but also very different. And that they had just like a really strong bond, like a brotherly bond almost. Um, and it was just kind of like saying hi to this guy and like confirming the bond that they had. So I typed up this dream, sent it to one of my friends or someone who was like friends with him at the time I knew him, and sent it out to her because they just had a memorial for him. And I felt like, oh, sorry, one other part of my dream was basically he was trying to make contact, trying to like let his family know that he was okay, because I met this guy at church, and so a lot of his family and friends are um, religious or have certain belief systems, and one of them is around the topic of suicide and hell, and that people who commit suicide go to hell, or that they're condemned, or they can't be saved, and all of this stuff, which is not true. And he was showing up to let his family know that he's okay and that he is safe and lighter. So anyway, I sent this to a friend of his and mine. She confirmed a lot of the stuff in the dream. I didn't know him that well, so I didn't even know that he had a brother. He does, a little brother, and she was like, yeah, that makes sense. And then about the other guy, she's like, yeah, that was his best friend. Like, this guy was really struggling. Like, before I committed suicide, it was kind of like a gradual downward spiral, and like, his best friend was really there for him during that time, and all of this stuff. So I think that I'm kind of crazy when I get the dreams or feelings or affirmations, just because it can be a lot. But then something will happen that confirms what I got. So I know that I'm not making this shit up. It's happening. It's real. Like, this really was him. He really did show up and talk to me. Um, and he really had a message to give to other people. Whether they accept it or not is their deal. So anyway, for anyone who has lost someone to suicide, please know that they are still there. They would probably love to communicate with you. A lot of the times, a way someone can communicate with you is through songs. If you hear like a certain song that reminds you of them, or that like you guys used to sing together or something like that. Also through little things showing up in your day, like feathers or butterflies, or I don't know. You'll know when it happens to you. Dreams also. Um, and then I also wanted to talk about my experience actually with suicide. And I've actually had a couple suicide attempts of my own. Um, I'm going to talk about one in particular where I was. I'm not going to go into the method because I don't want to give anyone any ideas, but I was out cold. I should have died, honestly. I probably was dead for a little bit. I was out for about 20 minutes, and I think it was 20 minutes. Honestly, I don't know. There was no one else around. I was on like an abandoned road. Um, so I remember being like out of my body and remembering all the people in my life that I loved, and knowing that it would have an effect on them, and knowing that they would probably be hurt and that they wouldn't understand. Uh, they wouldn't understand. And um, I remember kind of deciding to wake back up, and because I didn't want to hurt anyone, and I didn't want to leave people wondering whether there's just a certain shame that people carry if they have survived suicide, thinking that they could have done something, or just that they weren't there for them, or but the reality is that it's very personal. A lot of times the person has been struggling for a while, and it's kind of a dance. It's not just something like, oh, I think I'm gonna kill myself now, like it's gradual. Same way other people kill themselves. Here's the thing about suicide that I want to say. Some people kill themselves slowly. Some people kill themselves fast. Um, Suicide is looked down upon because it happens fast, because we're not expecting it. It's shocking. But other people in this world kill themselves slowly, with disease or with drugs, overeating, um, all kinds of fun addictions or accidents that we think were accidents, but maybe we're not. Um, Suicide is different because the person has to actually, they're the only person responsible for their action. Another kind of death, we see that as, oh, that was just death's fault. Like, it was an accident, it was something else, but it wasn't that person. But we're each responsible for our deaths. Suicide is just kind of a blatant way of being like, fuck it. Um, and nobody likes that. um, I don't know. Sometimes it's just like a higher thing where the person just is, they feel um, so trapped and don't know how to like get out of it, and like suicide is like the only logical way to be able to shed all of that crap, and see things from a different perspective. So anyway, that's kind of what I have to say. And since then, I've run into definitely tons of people who are suicidal or who are on the verge of suicide. I ran into a girl one night when I was coming home from work who was in the middle of a road. I was like, something that is not right. She looks like she's trying to run into traffic, and she was trying to run into traffic. I pulled over, started yelling at her, "Get the hell in my car!" 15-year-old girl. I'm like, "Get in my car. We're going to a parking lot. We're going to talk." She had a bag full of pills, full of alcohol, and full of a razor blade. So basically, she had overdosed on a bunch of crap, drank some alcohol, and was going to slit her wrists and walk into traffic. So these are just, this is, I cannot explain my life. Um, but I could just sit there with her and say, hey, I don't judge you. I do not judge you for the decision you were about to make. I completely understand you not wanting to be here. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you that you're wrong. I'm not going to sit here and tell you, no, you have to live because I think that you need to and I want you to. And I'm right. You know, like it's just, I don't know. We need to stop trying to control everybody. I mean, I think just the fact that someone told her, like, hey, it's okay. Like, I'm not going to sit here and judge you and tell you that you have to live, kind of gave her the freedom to live, if that makes any sense. Um, okay, so now I'm rambling at this point. Anyway, I'm going to put this out here for the general consumption and see what happens, and feel free to leave any comments. Hopefully this is comforting to some people who have been left by someone by way of suicide. And just know that those people are safe and they are in God's care, and love and light to everybody. So that's all. Till next time.